World War II is often told as a simple story: good versus evil, allies versus Axis, freedom versus tyranny. But that's not the whole truth. Behind the famous battles and dates was a war shaped by economic collapse, broken treaties, propaganda, mass suffering, secret deals, and decisions that killed millions, often far from the front lines. This is what really happened during World War II, without the myths, without the shortcuts, and with only the truth. World War II didn't start in 1939 out of nowhere. It began in the aftermath of World War I. Germany was crushed by the Treaty of Versailles, forced to accept blame, give up land, limit its military, and pay massive reparations. The result was humiliation, poverty, and anger for an entire nation. Then came the Great Depression. Factories closed, unemployment exploded, people lost faith in democracy. Across Asia and Europe, extremist ideologies promised order, pride, and strength. In Germany, Adolf Hitler promised to restore national honor. In Italy, Benito Mussolini promised a Roman Empire in a new form. In Japan, military leaders believed expansion was the only way to survive. The world wasn't drifting toward war, it was marching towards it. World War II officially started on September 1st, 1939, when Germany invaded Poland. But the truth was, the war had already started. Japan had invaded Manchuria in 1931, then launched a full invasion of China in 1937, killing millions of civilians. Germany had already absorbed Austria and Czechoslovakia, while Europe looked away, hoping Hitler would stop. But he didn't. When Germany attacked Poland, the Soviet Union invaded from the east, because Hitler and Stalin had secretly agreed to divide Eastern Europe. Two future enemies were partners, at least for now. Germany didn't fight the way the world expected. Tanks, planes, and infantry struck fast, overwhelming enemies before they could react. Poland fell in weeks, France fell in just 6 weeks, and then Britain stood alone, bombed relentlessly during the Blitz, yet refusing to surrender. Meanwhile, in Asia, Japan expanded brutally, committing atrocities where hundreds of thousands of civilians were murdered. This wasn't just a war between armies, it was a war against entire populations that the world had never seen before. In June of 1941, Hitler made his biggest mistake. He invaded the Soviet Union, breaking a pact that had been formed years prior. Operation Barbarossa became the largest invasion of history, with millions of soldiers clashing across thousands of miles. At the same time, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in December of 1941, dragging the United States into the war. Now it wasn't just a European conflict, it was truly a world war, fought across Europe, Africa, the Atlantic, and the Pacific. What really defined World War II wasn't just combat, it was industrialized death. The Nazis carried out the Holocaust, systematically murdering 6 million Jews, along with millions of others, Roma, disabled people, political prisoners, and more. By 1942 and into 1943, the momentum began to shift. The Allies won critical victories in Stalingrad, Midway, and El Alamein, and factories in the US and the Soviet Union outproduced the Axis. Resources ran dry, morale collapsed, and on June 6, 1944, D-Day, Allied forces landed in Normandy, opening a second front in Europe. Germany was now being crushed from both sides. By 1945, Nazi Germany collapsed. Hitler had passed away. Berlin fell. Europe was liberated but devastated. In the Pacific, Japan continued fighting. To force surrender, the US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing over 200,000 people, mostly civilians. Japan surrendered. World War II was over, but it left the world forever changed. World War II wasn't just about heroes and villains, it was about broken systems, desperation, fear, and what happens when hatred is weaponized. Over 70 million people passed away, about 3% of the current world's population, and the war didn't just end nations. It reshaped borders, created the Cold War, and defined the modern world we live in today. Because World War II wasn't just a history, it was a warning.